Dr. Bukhaili pronounced the Shahada and became Muslim. So, how did all this start? And what did he discover on the pharaoh's body? How is his discovery related to the Qur'an until he was convinced that Islam is the truth? Eminent scientist who converted to Islam thanks to what he discovered while analyzing the mummy of Pharaoh Ramses II. Born in France, he was a professional doctor and a specialist in the field of gastroenterology.
In 2010, the pharaoh's body was sent to France for further study.
Dr. Maurice Bucaille was then appointed as the senior surgeon and scientist in charge of the restoration of the body of Ramses II.
One of the big questions, since the discovery of Pharaoh's body in his tomb, Pharaoh Ramses II in 1975, is how his body remained intact while he died more than 3,000 years ago, in the era of Prophet Moses, peace be upon him.
Dr. Bucaille was trying to find out how this pharaoh had died. While analyzing him, he discovered that the remains of salt stuck in his body were clear evidence that he had drowned, and that his body had been retrieved from the sea soon after he drowned. It was also clear that they had rushed to mummify his body so that it would remain intact.
Dr. Maurice was so shocked to learn that the Qur'an mentioned that he drowned the sea more than 1,400 years ago.
Because he was convinced that this type of discovery was only possible thanks to advanced scientific knowledge and ultra-precision machines. He got more surprised and kept on asking, where did the Muslims' Qur'an quote these data from, while the mummy was not discovered until 1898, about 200 years only, given that the Qur'an has been recited by Muslims for over 1,400 years?
Fate of Pharaoh is mentioned in Qur'an, but not in Bible.
The Muslims' Qur'an explicitly establishing that this body was recovered after drowning, while the Bible narrated only the story of Pharaoh when he was chasing Prophet Moses, without mentioning the fate of his body at all.
Dr. Bukhaili now goes to Saudi Arabia to attend a medical meeting.
Dr. Bukhaili decided to pack his baggage and travel to Saudi Arabia, where a medical conference happened to be held with hundreds of Muslim scholars in the field of anatomy attending. There he told them about his discovery that Pharaoh died drowned in the sea and that his body was kept intact. One of the conferees opened the Qur'an and read out the ayah.
Verse number 92, chapter number 10.
So today we will save you in body, that you may be to those who succeed you a sign. And indeed many among the people of our signs are heedless. Qur'an 10:92. Hearing this, Dr. Bukhaili stood before the attendants very excited and loudly said, I have converted to Islam and believed in this Qur'an.
Dr. Maurice Bucaille was so surprised about how the Holy Qur'an knows Pharaoh died in the sea, and that his body remained intact after he was drowning in the sea. After learning the fact that the Qur'an clearly narrated the fate of the Pharaoh, Dr. Maurice Bucaille then firmly converted to Islam.
After reverting to Islam, he spent 10 years devoting himself exclusively to studies aimed at demonstrating that the Qur'an is consistent with modern scientific theories.
Did Ramses II live in the time of Moses?
What about the timeline? Can we prove that this mummy lived at the time of Moses?
Moses and Pharaoh lived in 13th century BC.
So, most historians and religious scholars agree that Moses lived around the 13th century BC.
What's the result of carbon dating of Pharaoh's mummy?
And guess what? When scientists carbon dated the body of Ramses II, it matched. Exactly, placing his death right in the 13th century BC. This is exactly when the story of Moses and Pharaoh would have taken place. Perfect match.
Is there any other circumstantial evidence other than carbon dating?
Archaeologists have actually found ancient cities that are mentioned by name in the Bible. In Exodus 1:11, it talks about how the Israelite slaves, they built these cities called Pithom and Ramses for the Pharaoh of that time. Now, in 1883 and 1920, archaeologists found these hidden cities and linked them to Ramses II. So the timeline just fits perfectly.
With the title of the book reading, The Bible, the Qur'an and Science, the Holy Scriptures examined in the light of modern knowledge, the book quickly became a great success, and from its first edition, it was sold out in all bookstores. Then it was reissued a second time in more than 100,000 copies, and then it was translated from French into different languages, which allowed the message to be spread to the four corners of the planet.